Hey everyone, really want to thank everyone for attending today. Really excited for all the content that we have to share, with all the content really focused on how exactly can you improve your DTC sales. I'm going to wait a couple of more minutes. I see a lot of attendees still trickling in, so going to give a couple more minutes and sit tight, and we'll be with you soon. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is I want to start kicking it off and start with all the different speakers that we have today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it in the questions box. I'll be turning off the chat in a minute just because of the notifications, so please be patient with that. Now, I want to start by introducing all the speakers that we have today. Harish has joined us today. So he helped co-found our business in 2017 with the vision of bringing fast, hassle-free fulfillment to everyone, no matter what size the business is. Unfortunately, our other co-founder, Michael, couldn't join us today due to last-minute conflicts. My name is Jess. I sit within strategy and biz ops, focused on driving growth for our merchants through data-driven decisions and really focusing on providing the tools, data, and materials for our merchants to grow. Last but not least, as you see Ben over here. Ben is also honestly one of the most creative people I've met. He sits in the growth team. He's very consumer focused given his former marketplace experience and is always really focused on finding new and creative ways to help our merchants grow. Now, I'm really excited for all the speakers that we have today, really excited for all the contents that we have to share. Yeah, and I will kick it off to, have a couple of logistics items I want to walk through first. So if you check to the right of your screen, there's a questions tab. Feel free to drop questions anytime throughout the item. Second, we have 3 poll questions throughout the entire webinar. So make sure you answer these 3 poll questions for a chance to win $5,000 of free inbounds. We will be sending this out in an email tomorrow, who the 2 winners are. And last but not least, a recording will be sent out afterwards. So feel free to rewatch, relearn, and share with all your coworkers and friends. Now, going through the agenda today. Harish is going to start us off with a quick introduction of Deliverr for those of you who don't know what Deliverr is. And then he's going to walk through the framework on how exactly can you best grow your DTC business. And then we'll take a deep dive into 2 of the topics that Harish will talk about, diving more into fast tags, encartments, and lastly, time for Q&A. And without further ado, I am going to pass this on to Harish to kick us off.
Great. Thanks, Jess. Very excited to speak with all of you today. This is an important product that we recently launched around fast tags, and a lot of merchants are taking a big benefit of it and seeing their sales increase by using fast tags and fast tags with minimums. Before we dive into into the depths of fast tags, a quick preview about Deliverr, what we do. We are a fast e-com fulfillment service, 1-day and 2-day. We've seen merchants on Deliverr increase their sales by a significant number, 44%. We work across all platforms, so you can use us for your website, but you can use us for Walmart, Amazon, eBay, Wish, practically anywhere else you sell. So you can have a single pool of inventory and you can sell in all the places on the web. That also simplifies things. While our core proposition is that by using Deliverr, you will sell more, we also pride ourselves in having one of the most affordable fulfillment rates. Typically, merchants save 50% over 2-day rates and 15% over standard rates. We've also simplified it. It's one price per SKU. You don't have to pay for receiving or delivery area surcharges or split shipping or software. Everything comes pre-bundled into 2 rates, fulfillment and storage. And last, we are continually working on it. We obsess about making our experience hassle-free, whether it's receiving inventory on time, faster. But we've launched these products where now you don't need to send inventory to all our warehouses. You can send it to near the ports. We have a cross-dock in Los Angeles and a cross-dock in New Jersey, conveniently located near the 2 ports. And from there, we will distribute your inventory on your behalf. So it's easier. And we're making that process over time easier as well. So a little bit about Deliverr, but let's go into today's topic, which is how do we grow the D2C, the direct-to-consumer business, for many of you who have your own websites or are thinking about building your websites. After you found the people who love your product and you built a good product, you priced it well, you have a good website. These are the 4 pillars that really are important for any business online to build a sustainable, profitable business. The first one is to increase conversions. Very simple ways to think about that is, if there are 100 people coming to your site, how many people buy it? Typically, 1 to 2 people buy the product. So if 100 people show up, roughly across, broad averages across all sites, 2% will end up buying it. Now, if you can make, instead of 2%, 3% of the people buy your product, suddenly you've increased your sales by 50%, right? You've taken 2% of the people and now 3% of the people are buying it. So it's one of the more important levers is like, how do I increase conversions for people who are coming on the site? I think the second one is, how do I increase the average order value? So if they were buying, people were buying on average $30 worth of products, if by the right value proposition, you can have them buy $50 worth of products. Now you've increased your online revenues by 60%, from 30 to 50. And so very important for these 2 metrics, which is what is the conversion rate and what is the average order value of people on my sites. Now, once you have these 2 figured out, the third thing is LTV, lifetime value, which is an important metric which says, how do I make more people come back and buy repeat from me? And a very simple way to think about LTV or lifetime value is that when you acquire a customer, during the lifetime of that customer with your business, what is the total profits they generate for you? That's the value of that customer, right? So if let's say simply you sell $20 toys and a customer ends up buying over the lifetime of that customer 5 toys, then they've created $100 worth of revenue, 20 times 5 for you. And if your profit margins are 40%, then the lifetime value of that customer is 40% times 100, and that's $40. The one simple way to increase lifetime value for a customer is the customer comes back and buys again. Easier said than done, but things like having a great experience, having a good product goes into driving up the lifetime value. Now, the 4th pillar here is acquisition cost, which is how much did you spend on advertising, marketing to acquire that customer, right? You obviously want to spend less than the lifetime value of the customer. So in this example, if the lifetime value was $40, you would want to spend less than $40, because if you end up spending more, that means you really don't have a good business, right? So you want to spend less, you make more from the lifetime value, and then you have a profitable growing business. So an important piece is, how do you bring down your acquisition cost? How do you bring down the cost from Facebook advertising, Google advertising, to bring that down. So these are the 4 pillars. Really, as after you've sort of figured out the first few things about building the business, which is most importantly product, having the right price, having a good website, a good checkout experience, you know, as you go to investors who invest in direct-to-consumer businesses, these are the 4 metrics they will look at, which is like, what is your conversion rate? What is your order value? What is your lifetime value? And what is your acquisition cost? Because if these 4 numbers are making sense, then you can scale the business. So let's go and see what is the things that everybody would optimize for or look at, the easy things that you can do, right? So these are the things that every one of us should be doing every single day. Conversion, text, images, site optimize. So when you're looking at a product, does the product image communicate the benefits of the product? Is the text very clear? Is the description of the product clear about what the product does, right? Is the site optimized for the flow in terms of checkout? Is the text and the image being crawled by Google as well, so you're getting organic traffic there? So all the things that you need to do to ensure that your conversion, the 100 people who are showing up on your site, you can now convert 3 instead of 2, right? The second one is to increase the average order value. So that is about, think about building bundling apps, buy X, get Y for a lower price, having cart minimums, saying, hey, we will give you free shipping if you ordered $50 worth of product from us, right? Having complementary products featured together as a bundle so more people can buy those. That's the second piece, which is how do you drive up the average order value? The third piece is how do you drive up customer lifetime value? How do you have them come back again, right? Simple things like launching subscriptions. If you've got you know, a CPG product, much easier to launch subscriptions there. Saving apps where you can give cashbacks or points for people to come back and buy again. Obviously, nothing beats having an amazing experience, so consumers just come back to buy from you. And then last is the acquisition cost, right? Which is probably after the product cost, majority of the spend for all of you guys is marketing. And that's like working the ad spend, working with the marketing agency, having the right creative, the right messaging, the right targeting for the audiences, all of the things that you have to constantly do to bring down the acquisition cost. So this is the must-haves. You have to do all of these things to grow your direct-to-consumer business. But what is it that you can do with good fulfillment, fast fulfillment, right? I come from Amazon, and one of the ways we looked at fulfillment at Amazon was that fulfillment was actually a revenue driver, not a cost center. Every time, and many of us have seen that when, you know, at Amazon, every time Amazon brought the speed down, where instead of 5 days, it became 3 days or 2 days, now 1 day, people ended up just buying more. So, the spirit of this slide is very similar, that one way for you guys to increase conversions on the site, so instead of 2 people buying, 3 people buying, is to turn on the fast tags. What are fast tags first? Fast tags is, think of it as a delivery promise, a time-definite delivery promise to the end consumer when they are looking at a product. When they are looking at a product and they're saying, hey, this product is available for 2-day delivery. It will be at your doorstep by Thursday, this date. You know, that's a fast tag, right? It can be 2-day, it can be 1 day, it can be 3-day, but it's a very clear visual indicator to the end consumer that this product is available with time definite and fast delivery, normally 1 day or 2-day from the time they place the order. So to increase conversions, you turn on fast tags, right? So you say, hey, all my products, I'm going to show a delivery promise, a fast delivery promise, whether it's 1 day or 2-day. How do you drive up average order value? And one way to do that is you say, hey, you can get all the entirety of your cart in 2 days or 1 day, but it comes with a cart minimum. That means you need to buy $40 And so instead of saying you're going to get free shipping, you say you can now get free 1-day shipping, free 2-day shipping, and that obviously creates the incentive for the end consumer to say, okay, if I add another $5 or $10 worth of product, I can now get everything in 1 day at my home, and that makes sense. And so that's another big piece to add to drive up the average order value. Drive up the customer LTV. So we're going to go deeper into this, but as you get the fast tags coverage, which is the areas in the country where 2 days turned on, 1 day is turned on, how do you target your audiences, your consumers there by email saying, hey, the products are available for 1 day? You retarget them. So somebody who came on the site but didn't end up buying, but when the fast tags are available in that geography, you retarget them through emails. And lastly, building one of the more powerful ways we've seen Deliverr merchants use the fast tags is to integrate the delivery promise into the ads. So when ads are coming in as 1 day or 2 day with a delivery promise, more consumers are likely to click on the ad, and that drops down your acquisition cost because your cost per click goes down. And now more consumers are willing to buy it because now they've seen an ad with a delivery promise, right? So these are the 4 things on how, if you're using Deliverr fulfillment, you can use to increase conversions, bring up the average order value, drive up the customer lifetime value, and bring down the acquisition cost. And I can assure you, if you do all 4 of these, the business is going to be sustainable. It will be growing faster, but in a way that is very profitable, right? Because your acquisition costs are coming down and your profit per order is going up. So I hope that makes sense. We will go into the details for each one of them and walk you guys through, how this whole thing works. But before we do that, we have some polls. Ben, you want to tell us about the polls?
Yeah. So our first poll that I'd be curious to learn a little bit, from our merchants attending today. So which of the following has been the most impactful in bringing sales to your direct-to-consumer website? So you all should hopefully see the poll momentarily. And so the options are increasing your marketing spend, focusing on improving product quality and catalog, expanding to other marketplaces to gain brand visibility, integrating new apps and functionalities on your website. So that's including things like various Shopify apps, the Deliverr fast tags, or other third-party Shopify apps that exist, improving the customer experience. Maybe perhaps you're having a tough time driving up revenue and orders on your website, or perhaps maybe you just don't have a website. So feel free to go ahead and vote now. All right, definitely super interesting. Looking at some of the early results trickling in. So it looks like, one of the most impactful steps that folks have taken is definitely expanding to other marketplaces to gain brand visibility. From my experience as a growth manager here at Deliverr, as well as also working previously at Amazon like Harish on the marketplace, I think that's probably one of the biggest levers that brands can do to help their business, is to bring their product to customers wherever it is that they shop, in addition to bringing those customers directly to their own websites. It also looks like leveraging different types of apps and functionalities on your website. So that would be things like perhaps cross-sell and upsell apps that exist on Shopify. Subscription apps are also a very popular one that we've seen. Looks like folks have also taken advantage of the Deliverr fast tags as well. And then it also looks like a good portion of folks are looking at trying to find solutions to help them drive up, their website sale, because right now, perhaps you haven't seen some success. So hopefully a lot of the tips that Harish previously shared, coming out of this webinar, you'll be able to take some of those strategies and implement that. So with that being said, Jess, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Great. So let's look at a little bit around fast tags. And how does that really help in driving conversions? And we look at it through some of our merchants. So first, visually, I would love for you guys to take a look on what they look like, right? So this is a shoe company. They're using Deliverr fast tags. Our fast tags come in sort of several different forms, but next day, 2-day, and below that you can see a text that Deliverr ads, which is arrives tomorrow if you order within 1 hour. So all of this is dynamic. If somebody is in Alaska and we can fulfill the order in 2 days, they will not see the fast tag. But if somebody is nearby one of the warehouses where the inventory is, they'll see a next day tag. But if they're far away, they might see a 2-day tag. So the system manages the delivery promise. But as soon as a customer ends up buying from it, we record that delivery promise so that we can meet it, right? So just by offering this, you can see, we've seen very clearly that merchants see a very big increase in sales, right? 44% from 2-day, and next day, people are seeing a 75% increase in sales. So it clearly helps. Reason, all of us are very attuned to fast fulfillment and have been trained by very large marketplaces like Amazon and others to expect things to show up fast, reliably, every single time. And so when people don't see that, they look for other places to buy the same product, right? So you've done all the hard work to have a great site, a great product, and have spent money to have a person come up to your site through ads. Now at that opportunity, we need to put our best foot forward to capture that sales and not have that customer and saying, oh, I like this product. I learned about it from this site. Let me go look up in other places on the web where I can get 1-day shipping or 2-day shipping, And so it's important that we capture the sales when a customer kind of shows up on the site. This is another example. A merchant that uses Deliverr. They make sort of PPE, respiratory products, face and fire emergency, fall protection gear. And if you look at these, the screenshot yourself, let's say all things being equal, you're more likely to click on the first 2 products than the other 2 products. The first 2 come with fast shipping, the other 2 don't, right? Now, if you, of course, just need that filter, you're going to go and buy that. But if you have comparable products, you're going to pick the one that comes up faster, like visually. And so this merchant did that. They adopted fast tags across their sites, and they're seeing a pretty massive increase in website sessions, almost a double of conversion. So if 2% were buying, now 4% are buying. Think about that's like the easiest way to increase sales is to increase your conversion, right? You're already spending money to get people onto the site, but now if you can have 2x the people buy, and then as people are buying this and things are showing up faster, the social media, Twitter and Facebook, the referrals go up as well, right? People are happy, things show up on time, things show up in 1 or 2 days. And so you get some halo effect from this as well. If you go deeper into what those metrics were before and after for Variant, we measure a lot of these now, and soon we will be surfacing many of these metrics to you guys as well on your dashboards. But 4.3% of this website's customers were adding something to the cart, right? With the fast tags now, 7.5% are adding, right? So that's a 75% number of people who are adding to the cart. Before, only 2.4% of the people reached the checkout. Now 4.7%, which is a 95% boost of the customers are reaching checkout, right? And the most important metric of all is how many people converted, right? So as I was sharing with you, the 2% number is like sort of an industry benchmark, 1.5 to 2%. Variant was at 1.7%. So for every 100 people that came to the site, 1.7 or almost 2 people bought. But now 3.3, which is almost 4 or 3.5 people bought something. So that boost in conversion rate of 103%, is a make or break, right? If you are doubling your conversion practically, Now, for the same dollar spent, you're a lot more profitable than you were before. Yeah. Ben, what are we polling now?
Yes, absolutely. So our next poll is, what are the biggest challenges you face selling through your own website? So our options are driving traffic to your site, shipping orders, maintaining customer satisfaction, increasing repeat orders, maintaining inventory, or again, perhaps folks don't quite yet have a site, but they're looking into it. So feel free to vote now, and we'll kind of take a look and see what we find. So it looks like the overwhelming response seems to be driving traffic to your site. So again, that obviously relates back to customer acquisition. And so there's obviously a variety of ways that you can do that. Harish kind of chatted a little bit about it before, whether that's leveraging advertising via social or through email marketing, or perhaps even through just traditional SEO, SEM. But yeah, overwhelmingly, over 60% or so of folks, driving traffic to the site is the #1 challenge that they're experiencing. Perfect. So next section, Jess.
Right, Ben. Okay.
Yes. Yep, feel free to go to the next slide, Jess.
Okay.
Perfect. So for merchants with a smaller assortment or lower margins, we chose to iterate our Shopify Fast Tag offering to now include cart minimums. And so our Shopify Fast Tags with cart minimum feature behaves in a similar manner to our traditional Shopify Fast Tags on your store, with the exception of the badge messaging, which you can see here. So kind of the nuanced difference between our traditional fast tags and the fast tags with cart minimums is not only now do we message the delivery promise to the customer, but we also show them on site what that cart minimum is that they need to reach in order to take advantage of that fast shipping option. So one of the brands that we work with here at Deliverr is Annie Energy. And so they are an emerging D2C beverage brand. And so this is actually a merchant that I work directly with. And so through their journey here at Deliverr, they'd always told me that they were interested in leveraging our existing Shopify Fast Tags, but they really couldn't execute on it yet just due to some margin concerns. And so once we launched the cart minimum feature, they were an early adopter, and they immediately saw results. And so these results included seeing a 12% increase in their average order volumes, again, AOV, a 12% increase in average units per order, a 5 to 10% increase in profit margin for fast tag orders, and now 33% of their orders are now shipping with faster delivery. And so Jess, you can go to the next slide. And so our intention in launching the cart minimum feature was to help our merchants increase their website revenue by driving up average order value and increasing multi-unit orders. And so since its launch roughly a month ago, Deliverr sellers have seen on average, a 15% increase in AOV and a 15% increase in multi-unit orders. So if you've been exploring ways to enhance your customer's experience while exponentially increasing your revenue on Shopify, these early results demonstrate the value of adding our Shopify Fast Tags with or without the cart minimum feature to your store. Jess, back to you.
Cool, awesome. So both Harish and Ben spoke a lot about different ways you can give your buyers fast delivery. Now there's fast tags where there are no minimum, and versus, fast tags where there are cart minimums. For every business, that decision is very different, right? Depends on your margins, depends on your product. So I want to walk through what makes the most sense for you. So key couple of considerations, right? So overall, what is the goal of activating fast tags for you? If your overall goal is to just increase demand for all of your products, then having fast tags on most of your SKUs would probably be the most beneficial. This is a way that most of our sellers use to drive demand and is what they generally like because it is such a strong traffic driver. However, if you are like Annie Energy, which Ben mentioned earlier, turning on fast tags alone doesn't necessarily make sense, right? They ended up choosing cart minimums because their goal for activating fast tags was A, drive up AOV so that they're more profitable per unit, and B, increase demand and improves customer satisfaction with 2-day shipping. Now, some other questions that you should be asking yourself: what are the current margins for all my products? Does the incremental demand from fast tag, from having a 2-day badge, does that outweigh all the incremental costs of faster shipping? What percentage of my products actually have incremental profits when I add fast tags? If a majority of your products have incremental profits, then it probably makes sense to just apply fast tags on most of your products. However, a couple of you are probably answering the earlier questions thinking, wow, my prices are low, my margins are razor thin, I can't really spend any more on shipping, right? Profitability seems a little bit tough to achieve, so then potentially want to turn to cart minimums, right? So think a little bit more about your business. Are there products that you have that you're having trouble with conversion due to lack of free fast shipping? Lastly, if you are setting up cart minimums, what is the average order value you must have to become profitable? I know I walked through a couple of key considerations, all very qualitative, but I'm a bit of a math person. I like to see the numbers, and I hope you do too, because that's how it is a great way to make a business decision off of numbers. So, and a lot of you are probably also asking, how do I know if I'm going to get incremental profits from turning on fast tags? What do my margins look like after implementing fast tags? So that's why I want to talk about profitability here. Now, when we think about DTC businesses, delivery costs are a part of the equation, as Harish mentioned earlier. It's a volume driver, but at the same time, it is a cost. So moving from standard shipping to fast shipping does have some sort of like incremental cost associated with it. At a very high level, when we think about total revenue with fast shipping, what we want to do is we want to look at the incremental units, adding the original units that you already sell every month, multiply that by the product price. So that's a simple revenue equation. And then you want to take out shipping costs. So any incremental fast tag shipping costs and any sort of standard shipping costs. And then you get a proxy for profit. Now, this is a very high level overview, but what I want to do is actually break down the numbers. So if you want to follow along, there's a bit.ly link right there in the corner. It's bit.ly/deliver_fast_tag_calculator. I'll be sharing my screen so we can walk through it together, but I want to make sure that this makes sense for everyone here. Everyone has the tools that they need to decide what makes the most sense for your business. Cool, let me share my screen. Cool. So this is, I'm waiting for people to trickle in as they follow along. You can follow along with me for now. You can always save the spreadsheet later. The calculations are there. But I want to walk through all the different variables that we think about when we think about what makes your business the most profitable. So specifically here, in this scenario, I sell 6 SKUs, 6 products over here from rows 3 to 8. I understand that fast tags drive a lot of demand, but at the same time, there are additional costs. So it might not make sense for me to turn on a fast tag for everything. Before I walk through like every single product, what I want to do is just walk through the spreadsheet. So over here from column A through D over here, think about what does your current business look like? What is the price? How much are you charging buyers for shipping? How many units are you selling? From column F through Q over here, this is calculating how much incremental lift you can have from activating fast tags. Over here, we have fulfillment costs in columns S through T. And then over here from V through AA, we're really trying to figure out what makes the most sense for you. So let me walk through a couple of different variables. So this column A through D, pretty simple. What's your product price? How much are you charging buyers? And how many units are you selling per month? So some of our sellers here, you charge shipping like maybe $7, $8 for standard shipping. Some people like to eat the cost of shipping just to make the experience for their sellers better. So this is what you would put over here, and you should have this detail over here. Now, coverage. So first of all, what exactly does coverage mean? So let's just say all your inventory is in one warehouse. It probably has slightly lower coverage. If you have your inventory in multiple warehouses, you probably have higher fast tag coverage, meaning that you have like maybe 65% of fast delivery available for your customers throughout the US. For the sake of this walkthrough, I'm just going to pretend all my products have exactly the same coverage. So what this means is I have 15% coverage in the of the US for next day, an incremental 35% coverage for 2-day, and for 3-day, an additional 15%. So that means the total US, I have 65% coverage. However, what I have over here is a little tab. So if you want to figure out what exactly is a fast tag coverage for each of your products, click into here. It's a seller portal. It's where your inventory is. On each of your products, you can see what does 2-day shipping look like? What does 3-day coverage look like? What does next day coverage look like? So all the information is there for you. Feel free to click through. Now, fast tags lift. So this is actually, we crunch a lot of numbers here at Deliverr. We are quite a data-driven company. So we're always tracking like what exactly is the average lift from implementing a fast tag. So for our next day lift, right? People want next day. So the coverage, the lift is the highest at 75%. Here's 40% for 2-day, and for 3-day, it's 25%. So no changes needed from you here. That's just part of the calculation. And then over here for units. You don't need to touch anything here. This is just calculating how much incremental units can you get from having a fast tag lift. Take a quick pause. I know that was a lot of numbers, a lot of number crunching, but we all love numbers here. Now, fulfillment costs. So this should be available to you. You should know like what exactly is the standard shipping cost, how much more money would it cost for Deliverr's fast shipping costs. These numbers are generally pretty standard for like smaller items. You might be familiar with it, but if you aren't really familiar with what a fast tag may cost, this is a really great way to look at it. Again, if you go to the inventory page, if you click on each item, you can see with the weight and dimensions of your product, how much does it cost. If you're not yet a Deliverr merchant, just click here. We'll tell you. Just put in the weight, put in the dimensions. We're very transparent with our pricing here. Also, one thing I do want to know. So this fast shipping price applies to 1-day, 2-day, and 3-day. It's all exactly the same price. It's all like a very transparent model in terms of how we price our products. And then lastly here, really figuring out, okay, what is, after I take out fulfillment costs, how much revenue do I have if I do standard shipping? What if I did fast shipping? And is it worth it, right? What's the monthly difference between having a fast tag versus not having a fast tag? And then in this column, we multiply it by 12. So if you look at this specific scenario, it's not worth it for me to turn on product 1. I'm selling this product for $9.99. I'm currently asking buyers to pay $9 to ship it. I'm losing $29,000 if I do this. The incremental demand you get from fast tags is not worth it in terms of cost. So that fast tag is off. Now, I want to use product 2 and product 3 as an example. So these actually all have the exact same items, except for one you originally charged a seller $8.95, and now you're taking away that cost. That extra revenue you are earning from them, and now you're also paying more for shipping. So that's why over here, it doesn't make sense to turn this on. But if you look at all your other items, product 2, product 4, product 5, and product 6, like it'll give you an additional $700,000 a year. So if this was my product SKU, I would choose to turn on fast tags. I'm gonna take a little breather there because I know that was a lot. I'll be happy to answer like any questions on this spreadsheet later, but feel free to download it. Now, a couple of you are probably thinking, what if I have a lot of product 1s and product 3s? It's not worth it for me. Then what we do is we start looking at cart minimums. So I want to use some numbers that we're familiar with. So earlier for Annie Energy, they had a product that was worth $24 and they had only 2 SKUs. I think it's an easy example since we're not thinking about too many SKUs, but there's just one price. So their current, oh, these are just fake numbers, by the way, just for example, but let's just say their current AOV is $30. My goal in increasing AOV would probably be to double the $24, right? So instead of selling 1 unit of $24, I want to sell 2 units. So my projected AOV would be somewhere around $48. Over here, what are my average standard shipping costs? For over here, let's just say it's $7.89. That's a pretty standard shipping fee. But then we look at what exactly would it cost if I added fast tags. So it's not necessarily just double this, right? Because for every order that goes out, we're taking into account dimensions, the weight. So it's definitely cheaper to ship 2 products in 1 box rather than 1 box. So for this case specifically, it's $14, right? And so I also want to think about what exactly is the cart minimum I want to set, right? I want to make sure people hit this $48. I want cart min to be above $24. So somewhere between $25 and $45 is probably a good range for a cart min. So in this case, let me just do a $40, right? So as you can see here, the additional profit per fast tag order is $11 or $12. Now, that's a lot when you think about what the original price was of your unit economics. So hopefully this helped a lot. Happy to answer more questions on this afterwards. Other ways that you can probably project what your fast tag shipping cost is, there's a Deliverr cost calculator. So let's just say you have 2 items, you know the weight, you know the size. You can put these metrics in and kind of see what would the numbers look like. Another method is, let's just say your projected AOV is $48. What is a general shipping fee for items or orders where there is a $48 value? Now, one thing I do want to have as a caveat is specifically for this fast tag no minimum analysis I did earlier, we don't take into account multi-unit orders. Over here, we're assuming that everyone buys just 1 product. So your lift should probably actually be higher than this number because, people are buying multiple units, you're paying less costs. So yeah, that really sums up the numbers. Again, copy this, make it your own, and see what makes sense for you.
And Jess, could you just show us on how we would copy this and make it our own?
Oh yeah, for sure. So make a copy and easy. It's in your items. I've highlighted all these items. So these are all your inputs, these light yellow areas for you to go through. And these are projections and inputs. And everything else should flow and you should be able to calculate it well. Cart mins, definitely think about the couple of key considerations I talked about earlier, right? Like what do people like to bundle together? When they do multi-unit orders, like what does AOV usually look like? And based on that, you should be having a cart minimum. At a certain point, like depending on where your cart minimum is, it should be profitable. So definitely play around with this, see how it goes. And now I want to pass it on to Ben, who will actually talk about how exactly do you integrate this? How exactly do you make this part of your business? And let me go back to the presentation. Sorry, give me a second.
Perfect. So now that we've all learned about how we can calculate, which of the Shopify fast tag solutions that we can go with, setting up the fast tags for the Shopify store is a seamless process. However, in order to be eligible, your store must meet one of the following 3 criteria. You must have a Shopify Advanced or a Plus subscription. You must pay annually for your Shopify subscription, or you can request from Shopify support that they add the carrier service API feature to your store for a monthly fee of $20. More information on this can also be found in a Help Center article that can be accessed directly from the Deliverr portal. Assuming your Shopify store does meet the previously mentioned criteria and it has been integrated with Deliverr, the next step in the process is installing Deliverr's Shopify app, which can be accessed and activated by navigating to the Fast Tags tab that will be on the navigation bar on the left-hand side within the Deliverr portal. Now, once the Shopify app has been successfully installed, you can either have Deliverr automatically place the Fast Tag badge on your store, or you can manually place it yourself. Now, we recommend having Deliverr place the badge. However, we have seen that if merchants have a customized Shopify template on the store, that you will likely have to manually place the badge yourself. But don't worry, because we provide you with the actual code that you're going to need in order to embed that directly on your site. And so yes, that would be this page right here. Jess, you can go to the next slide. So as previously referenced, when we're talking about the cart minimum, for those merchants interested in setting the cart minimum feature, we do have a step that allows you to customize both the cart minimum and an upcharge amount for faster delivery when customer orders fall below that cart minimum. And so one important caveat that I want to make sure I'm explicitly clear on, which is if you are a merchant that typically leverages promo codes to drive sales, please know that the redemption of a code will not be taken into consideration when it comes to the cart minimum. And so that means in this example right here, that if a cart value is $50, and once that customer redeems that coupon, it actually brings the cart value down to $40. However, the system does not, that communicates to Deliverr, does not actually convey that information to us, which means we are still going to view that cart value as $50. So that means then that if your customer falls to $40, that we will still see it as 50, and we will offer that customer the free shipping. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can maneuver that particular situation. Merchants that I've worked with who have activated this feature, that instead of doing a dollar value, what they actually have done from a coupon or a promo code perspective is actually increase their order, their cart minimum, and then in addition, use a percentage off versus a dollar value. So just one thing to kind of want to let everyone know about, should you kind of be operating in a similar vein. Now, well, once you have made your Fast Tag badge placement and selection, and then you've set your cart value minimum, then it's simply a matter of turning on the badges to officially launch the Fast Tags, on your account. Now, Jess kind of pointed this out earlier, that when you run that profitability analysis, you may or may not discover that there are certain products that may or may not make sense to leverage the Fast Tag badge. And so once the Fast Tags are active, you actually can view the coverage map for each product in your catalog by navigating to the inventory detail page for a given SKU. And then when you scroll down, this is where you have an element of customization. So should you prefer to control what specific products are offered with faster delivery or not with faster delivery, you have the option to either toggle on or off the Fast Tag feature. Now, please know that when you do, by default, enable the Fast Tags, we opt in all products. So all products are opted in. Now, within this screen, as you can see here on the coverage map, once Shopify is selected, there also is a drop-down menu that will enable you to see the various coverage maps at a service level. So you can see here in the screenshot, the map is blue and the 2-day or faster is selected. And so you will see the free 2-day delivery badge. If you do click on that drop-down menu and you select next day or 1-day delivery, you'll see a map that reflects the 1-day coverage. And then the same thing for the 3-day or faster, you'll see the free 3-day delivery badge messaging as well. And so if I'm not mistaken, Jess, I think we have one more poll left. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, perfect. And so I guess the very last question that I know I would definitely be interested in, we talked a little bit about this earlier, is that we know that a lot of our merchants here at Deliverr are selling across a variety of different channels. And so I'd love just to to kind of poll the audience just to understand, which channels are you currently selling on? And so again, we have the more dominant players in the space. So we have Amazon, we have eBay, we have Walmart. Then we have some newer channels like Etsy and Target. We've also talked about your own website as well, or perhaps you just prefer not to answer. So feel free to vote now. This is absolutely fascinating results. So as to be expected, a lot of our merchants here are selling on Amazon, but almost proportionately, a good amount are selling on their own direct-to-consumer website, as well as on other channels, with those being Walmart and eBay kind of leading the pack. And so kind of as Harish, I think, alluded to earlier, in our presentation, we are wanting to be a service provider for our merchants who are selling across a variety of different channels. And so part of the convenience of using Deliverr is that you can have one pool of inventory in our network and then utilize our solutions in terms of having us fulfill those orders across all channels. So thank you guys so much for sharing. It definitely is super interesting, to get some more insight into, how our merchants are succeeding and excelling on all their various connected channels. So with that being said, Jess, I think we have a little bit of time left, for the Q&A. But before we do, I know you probably have some quick follow-ups you want to do. So I'll turn it back over to you.
So I actually want to start by answering a couple of questions. I think a lot of attendees here have asked, is this available through Google yet? Is this available through some of our other integrations? Currently, this is only available for Shopify. This is our first cart minimum. We're always looking to expand and kind of see where the demand is. So if you want something, let us know. We're always trying to make our business cater to our sellers. So hopefully that answers a lot of questions. Harish, did you have anything else you want to address?
No, I think first, thank you all for your time. And, there's lots of requests around enabling the fast tags on different channels, making the cart minimums from dollars to number of units, all great requests that we will take back to our development team to see when and if we are going to build those. But like my last thoughts here is that think about those 4 things that we mentioned in the beginning, that building long-term sustainable online businesses requires you to have great conversions on your site, really, good, healthy average order value, have good long lifetime value, LTV, that comes from retention and low acquisition costs, and constantly having those 4 metrics and optimizing on those. We've seen it from our own personal experiences that, fulfillment is not the only solution, but it is one of the things that can help you on all 4 of those key metrics. And so, if there's one takeaway is keep those 4 key metrics in mind, try to optimize those metrics over time, and certainly look at fulfillment to help build a long-term sustainable business for you. Should we take some questions, Jessica?
Yeah, feel free. There's a couple of different questions. People are asking if we ship all around the world in 2 days. Ben, do you want to take that on?
Sorry, 1 second. I was on mute. So yes, so that's actually a great question. So right now, we are focused on domestic delivery here within the US. So again, domestic, that is the 48 states, as in addition to Hawaii and Alaska. We do have international shipping, on our roadmap. We don't necessarily have a firm ETA yet. My understanding is that we probably will be expanding to Canada first, followed by other countries shortly thereafter. So what I would say is definitely stay tuned. We try to put all of our updated information directly, on our blog posts, as well as in our newsletter that gets sent out, as well as for those of you who know who your account manager here is at Deliverr, feel free to reach out directly to them as well, and they can provide you some more updated information as we get closer to launch. So that being said, stay tuned.
Great, thank you, Ben. I guess this other question isn't necessarily website related, but as we saw earlier, a lot of our Shopify sellers do sell on Amazon, and this question comes in a lot. What is better, FB or FBA or FBM? Ben?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So as someone who used to work at Amazon on the marketplace, I'd say they're very different. They're very different solutions. So, when you are using FBA, that means that your goods physically are in Amazon's warehouses, and they are handling both the fulfillment to the customer as well as customer service. Now, when you decide to sell directly via FBM, that means that you essentially are responsible for that complete customer experience. So that means, either self-fulfilling that order yourself or using a third party, like Deliverr, as well as being able to provide, a level of customer service, whether that's questions regarding, your product, questions regarding, shipping. So a lot of it just, I think, depends on, your business's both resources as well as internal infrastructure in terms of how you want to operate the business. What I will see though is, a lot of merchants have been impacted and continue to be impacted by the restrictions being imposed by Amazon because of the events of current world conditions. And so Deliverr has actually partnered with a lot of traditionally what I would consider FBA merchants. And we are now their provider of choice when it comes to fulfilling their FBM orders.
Cool. I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions, but I know this is a pretty common question I've been seeing through. There is a copy of this presentation. This webinar will be on our website afterwards. We will send you an email about it. So don't worry about screenshotting and worrying too much about these bit.ly links. It's all going to be there. Any last notes, Ben or Harish?
Yeah, I actually did see a question about, are our fast tags only good for Shopify stores? And so to kind of bring some more clarity to that, so that the fast tags that we currently offer, they are associated with select marketplace channels. So specifically, when I say a marketplace channel, that would be Walmart. That would also be Wish. We also offer it for Google. We've also recently launched Facebook. And then we also have other channels that are more direct-to-consumer website-based. So that would be Shopify. That would also be BigCommerce. And we are looking to expand that functionality to other sites as well. So when you log directly into the Deliverr portal, and once you have your channels integrated, there is an option that you click on that says Fast Tags. And so you'll see what are all of the available Fast Tag services that we currently offer, and what are the corresponding channels. So I guess, with that being said, on behalf of the team here at Deliverr, thank you so much, for spending this past hour or so with us, not just to kind of discuss, the current offering that we have, but also I want to, thank Harish for taking time out of his day to kind of share not only kind of what was the vision of Deliverr, but how we are constantly iterating our service to essentially help our merchants scale their respective businesses on their various sales channels. So as Jess kind of mentioned, everyone will be getting a copy of this presentation. And then within that presentation, there will also be links to the various resources that Jess and the rest of the team here has called out today. So with that being said, I wish everyone a happy selling, not just for Q3, but also for Q4. If you're not yet thinking about Q4, Q3 is the time to start doing that. If anyone has any additional questions, definitely feel free to reach out to your account manager here at Deliverr, or feel free to reach out to our support team if there are any specific concerns or issues that you need to get resolved. So that being said, have a great rest of your week, everyone.
Thank you.